How's everyone doing today? Um, yeah, I'm just gonna get right into it. Kevin Porter Jr. You probably have never even heard of him, honestly, if you're just a casual sports fan or even a casual NBA fan. But he's new to the Houston Rockets. Um, I thought the Cavs played him at small forward. Okay, so he's born in the year 2000, just to show you how old we're all getting. But he played 1 year, obviously one and done at USC, was the 30th overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft. And it looks like the Milwaukee Bucks actually selected him, but obviously he started his career in the Cavaliers. I don't care. We'll not go into it, but I'm assuming some sort of draft day trade. Actually, the only scouting report I ever received on old Kevin Porter Jr. while he was still on the Cavs was from my father, who attended a game. It wouldn't have been last season. It would have been, I believe, 2 springs ago. So it would have been, I believe, late into Kevin Porter Jr.'s rookie season. My dad saw him drop like 35 points. And he's like, Kevin Porter Jr. just scored 35 points. He texted me from the Cavs game, and I was like, who is that? like I didn't know even what team he was talking about. He could have easily been talking about whatever team the Cavs was playing that night. So yeah, it was quite a shock to the system to hear literally a dude I never heard of, and he was going off for 30. I think it was 35. Well, then this season he made headlines because there was a trade. The details are muddy. Sorry, I'm just now waking up. But I've been wanting to touch on this for a couple of days now. But basically, Kevin Porter Jr. was upset at one point that there was a trade that went down and he had to move lockers, and he was freaking out. He thought he was a bigger part of the team, and the Cavs basically just said, we're done with you. Like, there's too much locker room drama. And I hate to say it, but I think Kevin Porter Jr. might have been right about this one. So he's basically been putting up 25, 30, and 10 since debuting for the Rockets like a week or two ago. Yeah, look at this. Is 3 games ago, 22-8, 4 rebounds. 2 games ago, 25-7 with 4 rebounds. That's just the tip of the iceberg. This guy literally, I don't know what the Cavs were doing. It's because of Darius Garland and whoever, I guess, like Darius Garland and the young bull, Colin Sexton. So like I said, I thought he was right here on Basketball Reference, it lists him as a small forward. He's been playing point guard for the Houston Rockets. I'm not even kidding. If I can find his game log for this year, it couldn't have been. So my dad this must have been pre-COVID that my dad went early last season. This says it's only his second year. This can't be right. His second year in the NBA? Well, then the Cat, why? Wow. So 1920. Wow. This is his second year in the NBA. So the locker room drama, it's again, so there's a trade. I forget for who. It wasn't the Drummond trade, but so the guy's second year in the league, he looks like he averaged 10 points a game last year as a rookie, if I saw that right. He's already... Yeah, his career average is 10.7 points a game. So he averaged about 10 points a game last year. He's averaging 17-7 with 3 rebounds this year in only 6 games. But, yeah, he was – the start of this year, he's just inactive for Cleveland. I don't know what was going on. Like, the drama, and they just were done with him, so they find a trade. So they give up – this guy drops 35 points in his rookie season. Now, we just saw Anthony Edwards drop 40 points for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and he was I believe the 3rd youngest guy to ever score 40 points in an NBA game. And the list around him was the youngest guy was LeBron, the second youngest guy was KD, then Anthony Edwards, and then Carmelo. I mean, so Anthony Edwards looks like the Minnesota Timberwolves might have nailed it with Anthony Edwards. Just give it time. The Cavs had a kid go for 30, 35 points in his rookie year. It's not 40, but come on. There's clearly something here with this guy. And according to the Houston Rockets, the Cavs are playing him out of position because he goes to Houston. And where are these numbers? Okay. Looks like he went for, here we go. First night, 13 and 10. He had a double-double. His debut after being sitting out this whole year. He's a second-year small forward who's been inactive the entire season, and he debuts after a trade with a terrible Houston Rockets team. Houston's lost every game. They lost, looks like 10, 12 games before he made his debut. They've still yet to win. So I'm not gonna. Let's be real here. The Cavs were nothing last year, and now Houston. But I mean, it's almost hard to judge because what's going on in Houston, literally across all their sports teams, is just so ridiculous. I almost wonder, like, is there like a black hole down there? So we'll find out maybe next year. We'll have a better idea if he impacts winning. That will determine how much of a true superstar he is. But 13 and 10. These are his previous 6 games since he's debuted for the Rockets. 13 points, 10 assists, 27 points, 8 assists, 11 points, 7 assists, 22 points, 8 assists, 25 points, 7 assists. And then so here I wanted to make the video for a couple days now, and he went down with an injury last night, actually. He scored -2 fantasy points. Or -3 fantasy points for me. This is not I found a diamond in a rough fantasy basketball player. This is, like I said, dating back to last year. This guy put up 30 points in his rookie year. And he's playing out of position because he has every game he's played, obviously aside for last night when he got hurt, he's had at least 7 assists. You know who doesn't get at least 7 assists a game literally ever, and they're a point guard? Kyrie Irving. Never. Talk about old Cavs guard. So, I mean, gosh, I don't know what's going on in Cleveland with the basketball team in particular. I don't know what's going on in Houston with any of their sports teams. But Kevin Porter Jr., honest to goodness, I hope he's okay after last night's injury. But you're looking at a guy who's developing into a legitimate, like, I don't even know how you – the only thing I wish I would have prepared for in this video is being able to pull stats where who are guys that average 25 and 10 or 25 and 8 or 30 and – because this guy – I mean, it's a terrible team. He's putting up – we all know the idea of putting up big numbers on a bad team. Sometimes you read too much into those numbers when they don't really mean anything. But he debuts after being inactive for like 35 games, literally inactive for 35 games, and comes off and has a double-double in his debut, playing point guard all of a sudden. So, okay, so his plus minuses, -17, -13, -19, -14, -10. I'm just assuming the Rockets are that bad. I mean, but I just saw an article where it looks like as of today, granted everything's all right with Kevin Porter Jr., the Rockets are building around Christian Wood and Kevin Porter Jr. They're trying to build that chemistry. Your point guard, your big man, that's a pick and roll nightmare potentially. And who would have thought last year when this guy was playing small forward, turns out he was a point forward more or less. But yeah, really awesome stuff from Kevin Porter Jr. And he was, just for everyone that's curious, he was a fantasy diamond in the rough because he had that double-double and it was like, I don't know, like 50 points or something. I was like, ugh. And then he proceeded to 27 and 8, 11 and 7, but 22 and 8. And again, even 11 and 7, like, are you kidding me? Why 7 assists? Where's this coming from? So, yeah, I think he's going to be a real problem in this league for years to come. So Kevin Porter Jr. might be too early to tell, but maybe talking about a potential future superstar. So, yeah, that's all I have for today. You guys have a great one, and enjoy your weekend.